Okay, today we're going to talk about how to actually get a 300 to 500% increase in the ROI on your PPC campaigns that may not be getting the great, 8 to 1 to 10 to 1 return that most people want with their Google ads, Bing ads, or Facebook ads would also apply to this as well in case you guys are doing that. And it's something, again, that on the, let's just say the scale of difficulty of 10 being the hardest to the 1 being the easiest, this is like a 1.5. So for all practical purposes, you guys that are not, first of all, you always, if you've been watching my videos, know that you should always track your results and know what you need as far as results to be profitable, so your campaign's sustainable. You just can't quite get there with your campaign. This method right here is a gimme to be able to get you into the range of the level of return that you need from your campaign. And basically speaking, it's a method that will, if you will, cherry pick the best customers and clients out of your market that have the highest return for you. I'm going to go over the different types of businesses, and with different types of businesses where you're going to be able to find them, regardless of where what kind of business you run. This should apply. And if you're not getting the return you want today, is a way to get into the market to where you can get a campaign that spin off actual money left over after all your expenses, so that you can eventually do the stuff that's a little bit more difficult and try out another strategy, which is a way to build up a multi-million-dollar a year generating revenue ad account and program for your business using PPC ads. So running your PPC ads seasonally, aka or as known as only during peak hours, for this 300 to 500% higher ROI. So this is the challenge: is to get how do I take a campaign, how to get it, 300, how to make it produce 3 times as much money as it's producing right now to get me over the edge of where I need to be potentially. For you guys that are already making a ton of money with your PPC ads, of course you could use this methodology, but this is, I will say though, just in general, this is for the person that ain't quite getting the return that you want yet. So I know most of you guys watching, that's more so your problem than, Corey, I'm making $1 million, how do I make $1.5 million? Which we got other methods for that, that'll certainly help you out with that on other videos. But with that all said, I'm talking about how, during all year long, there's certain times where the getting is good, and there's times where the getting is not so great. It still can be profitable, which I'm going to explain why and how you're going to during non-peak time still be able to make it PPC work. But there's times where if you just focus on a couple months of the year, that's really where most of the customers, the easy low-hanging fruit customers come from, you can make profit real easy in your business without having to be a PPC expert, if you will. So anyway, if you've watched any of my other videos, I have a short list of things that I'm going to cover that's going to talk about how to actually use this strategy of focusing on the highest profit potential times of the year for your business, so that you can just scoop out the really profitable ads and customers for your business during the time of the year where they're actually searching on Google or looking on Facebook, so you can take them in, make above average returns, and then use that to invest in something else for your business. So anyway, the first thing I'm going to talk about is that different businesses all have different peak months in which the getting is good. So as you probably can recognize, as far as like our PPC clients at Guarantee PPC here, I've kind of just clarified and classified the type of business into 3 basic main categories. B2B, which is, obviously products or services, but all products or services regardless of what you're selling. Local home services / products, so basically a local business. It could be a local shop, but especially like a local service like a plumber, a roofer, construction company, all that stuff. And then you have e-commerce, specifically B2C. And this is how I normally break businesses out anyway, because each of these have basically strategies that work for mostly all other businesses in that category. But it also, ironically, lines up with the time frames during the year where the getting is good, as I said, and the times that are non-peak, that will give you the lowest return, but still can get you a return if you know what you're doing. And if you're looking to start out and just make profit, immediately, if you will, you could just focus on these couple months of the year that each one of these businesses have, and which you will fall in then one of the three, to scoop out that profit, to make money easily, and then decide what you're going to do from there. So anyway, with that said, I'm going to get into these months where you're going to want to target and how you're going to be able to use the strategy to your advantage to get the 300 to 500% more return. So for the B2B businesses out there, B2B, by the way, has gotten a lot more challenging just in general because Google's keyword matching system, which they have exact match, phrase match, and then there's broad match keywords, whether you put the bracket around the keyword or quotes, whatever you're doing. It's harder to target individual keywords. With B2B, you used to be able to target exact keywords. So if somebody was looking for a shipping service and you are offering a consulting service for shipping, people that are shipping B2Bs, crates or whatever, containers, whatever, you could bid on crate, shipping company, crate shipping consultants. Whereas now, even if you target that keyword in an exact match, it could be crate shipping prices that your ad shows up for, and it's caused a lot of havoc. I have a video specifically how to get around that stuff. You have to do that, of course, to make money. But as you guys already know, if you're in a B2B space, March through May and September through November is normally your peak seasons for revenue. Well, the PPC is the exact same way. Conversely, the worst months are July through August and December for PPC, which should coincide with the revenue your business is producing. Now, if you advertise just during March through May and September through November, and specifically like mid-September through November, you can get a 300% ROI increase just advertising during those times and those times alone. So why? Because this is, for some reason, I have my own kind of theories. Obviously, during the summer, people are on vacation. They're not being serious about what they're doing. They're researching. You're saying, Corey, why do they click, look for B2B shipping consultant if they're not interested in it in July? The answer to that is people do their research way before they buy. So it's a different type of buyer, and then therefore, so a lot of people just will never get to the moment where they buy. So that click from that July timeframe is not as profitable statistically than somebody who searches in March, who's more statistically likely to be ready right now, and therefore won't have the risk of not ever following through with their purchase. And respectively speaking, the cost of the clicks during March through May is the same price as it is in July and August. So therefore, because you're going to get a higher close rate on your leads is the big factor here, you're going to get a 300% ROI increase from what you're doing. And so on the flip side, if you advertise only during those times of the year, which I'm going to talk about at the end of the video, roughly speaking, you're not going to end up with near as much money. But as I was kind of alluding to before, if you're not getting the return that you want from your ads, well, the easy thing to do, other than what I told you about keyword matching, is just advertise through March through May, then shut the ads off. Obviously, that's not going to sit well with anybody that's helping you do it. They're not going to take you seriously, and you may need other advertising sources, and this can just be something off to the side that you perfect, which it is what it is. A lot of times with PPC for the first year, it won't make money because you need time to let your ads get settled in, let the algorithm learn how to place your ads, learn stuff about what's not working so you can, through your tracking that you have, weed stuff out. Just assume that you're going to lose money the first year and then play around with this. And keep playing around with it till you know your numbers are working, and then potentially you can go all year round. And it's just a way to limit also your losses. Since it's so much easier to make money during these key months, why not just start there till you're making money, unless you have just deep pockets, and of course you don't care that you have to lose $100,000 before you start making money, but you want it to happen like within 6 months and just throw a whole bunch of money at it, and then you're going to get data faster. You can do that. If you're not that, you want an opportunity to get in cheap for just a few $1,000s potentially. Just have the ads, click them on in May. If you're in midsummer, wait until September and go, specifically mid-September, go then. So anyway, you get the picture here. If you are in a local business and you're doing services or even products, so it's similar. March through May is the months where the getting is good. September through November, same thing. So it's, basically, except it's all of September. For the most part, it's the same as B2B. Conversely, the worst months is November through January, even though you want that too. Because people that basically, in December, again, why people clicking? Because they're doing research ahead of time, specifically in like this local business category. You're talking about services. People do research about buying a swimming pool or to put on a deck on their site on their house months and months in advance, and specifically like December, January, because they have time. It's snowing, they got time off of work, whatever. It's less busy at work. They have time to research. They just ain't gonna call yet. So that person looks like they're a waste of your money, but really they're not. You just aren't going to capitalize with them for a few more months. But anyway, back to the point here. If you just advertise during these months, you're going to have a 300% increase in ROI than you're going to get on months outside of these general months here, as I talked about. So again, like I said at the beginning, this is something anybody can do. If you can't pay $200 a lead right now, advertise March through May, you'll pay $75 a lead or whatever. Something like that. And for all practical purposes, if you're not like really, really knowledgeable at PPC or can't afford like a really, really knowledgeable PPC person to help you out, which 90% of PPC people out there, as a side note, as I've talked about on other videos, don't know what they're doing. And you'd be better off learning it yourself until you can afford the right person. And there is no benefit of a discount PPC consultant or company to help you. This is a great way to just dip your toes into PPC. And just scrape out skim the top of the surface of where all the leads are, where the profitable business is coming from the serious people that you have this edge working for you then here. So a 300% increase in ROI, similar to the B2B. And then e-commerce B2C, selling a product to a consumer. That's the last category to talk about. Now this is different, as you probably also already know, but PPC specifically, when you run the ads, November and December is where the getting is the best by far. You can also see a 300% increase in ROI advertising during those couple months' time. Plus or minus, but somewhere around there, depending on the exact business. And conversely, though, one thing I mentioned a lot of times stories about working with clients. Everybody kind of wants their own idea of what PPC should be about, how it should work. They don't like what the policies are that Google may have. They don't like the fact that something isn't working to this way and they want it to work that way. When I tell people January and February the sales are down because in November, December, everybody's spent all their money. Because that's what actually happens. People max out their credit cards. November, December, they're just draining their bank accounts. The ROI, because people they are spending money, normally they would have to consider, do I want to make this purchase or not? They're just hot and bothered to buy. Just like, by the way, Timothy O'Leary mentioned he's in businesses of weddings and funerals because people normally, vacations is the other one, people don't think about money the same way they normally do other times. So November, December, when people have a set aside budget, because that's why it is, they just buy. And so all you want to do is just get in front of the person before somebody else. And if you take your budget and for B2C, and then just, instead of just trying this, messing around and having a $2,000 budget all year, save it all and spend $10,000 a month, November, December, you're going to make out like a bandit. Again, you're going to lose out on a lot of money at not advertising all year round. Though if you're doing it the right way and you're doing things like I mentioned that I do for our clients to guarantee the results on our other videos. But that's the time where if you want to, you're only getting, you got to have a 10-to-1 ratio of $10 of revenue for every dollar of ad spend for your products that you're selling, because you have low margin products. Just really consider doing a big rush November, December. And then, the peak there is Black Friday. You could take that a step further, and it could be a 500% increase if you look at advertising, starting at a week before Cyber Monday and then going like a week after Cyber Monday for like 2 weeks. The return is even more intense and even more higher. So, and obviously it makes a problem for some other people too, because they can't handle that kind of surge in orders. But from a marketing perspective, there's an opportunity for you. Just don't be like eToys. If you saw that, their case study, basically they sold so many toys with their website and had such a great idea to focus on that actual strategy there. They couldn't handle all the back orders and they went out of business. So anyway, there's an opportunity for you if you're in e-commerce and selling to the end consumer. Now, to give you examples of actual businesses where I've done this kind of thing and actually looked at, and we advertise all year, but we focus, let's just put it that way. And I verified these 300% numbers from these actual businesses themselves. So it varied. Some were, 150, some were, 400. But in general, I just averaged it out. And it's about 300% for each one of these categories if you look at these months in specific. In the B2B category, we're looking at CDs. I've worked with several CNC product companies that sell CNC machines. Another one is a database optimization software company. Another one was a GPS product and software company that you would track fleets. If we're looking at the local home service product or product company category here, by the way, we have pool companies where this is absolutely true, cleaning company where this is absolutely true, what I looked at and verified before this video, and then also roofing company. So I know those are all service companies, but the product companies, it's not as quite as lined up and intense as the service end of things, but the product companies are the same thing. Even if you're selling medical supplies to elderly people and you have a store set up for that, it's still going to trend the same way, because people are busy in the summer. They're picking it up for their mom and dad, whatever, and they're busy in December. And money that gets spent in December gets spent on, going back to what I said before, in Christmas. So that's another reason why you have trends here for like local product companies as well. But anyway, and then as far as the e-commerce B2C, where I verified these kind of numbers here, we're looking at luxury houseware. Specifically, they sold like high-end china and real silverware and stuff like that for rich people. Let's just put it that way. EMF protection products that mitigate and remove EMF radiation, that kind of stuff. And then aquarium product seller, somebody that do fish tanks with reefs and that's their hobby, and have big fish tanks, whatever, supplies for that kind of hobby or whatever. They like that kind of decor in their house. So anyway, that's to give you real examples of where this kind of spread matters. And to be more specific about it, compared to the worst months, you're looking at a 500% plus or minus change. So if you're wondering, Corey, why does it say 3 to 500%? That's where the 500% comes from. So in other words, your 500% difference comes in where if you compare same ads in mid-January to closer to the end of November, you're looking at a 500% difference, plus or minus, in the ROI you can get from the same exact account, basically there. So, like I said, a lot of people don't want to believe me. Why is it the sales are down in January? It's just very, very common that if we have a good month, because there's seasonal trends in the business, even though they know it, the next month has to be that good. And if it's not, they're complaining. And no matter whether you tell them or not, it's like they get addicted to it. Oh, we had a good month. Now this month has to be as good. You have to understand the seasonal trends in your business and these PPC ads. Not every month is going to be the same. But on the flip side here, while the ROI may be higher in certain months, the volume will be easily less than what you can get advertising all year round as well. Like I said before, cherry picking the customer or clients that have the highest return in these specific months here, as I mentioned above, where you're talking about PPC as a whole, what it can do for you in your market through running the Google ads, the Facebook ads, and the Bing ads that are going to work for you in your market. You're only going to get 10 to 50% of what you can get running the ads all year just during these months, 6 months, or a couple months here for the B2C or B2 Ecommerce B2C product category here as I labeled. Why? Because, like I said before, people do their research in these non-peak months. So, respectively speaking, during these good months, it'll get even better, by the way, if you advertise during the non-peak months because you have the researchers that are going to come back. And so a lot of people think, well, I'm only going to advertise in these couple months because that's where the value is there. Well, sure, you can do that, but at some point, you're not going to get all the profit potential out of PPC unless you go all year round. So, respectively, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make more overall profit advertising all year round. Yes, the ROI will be a little bit less, but there's more overall profit going all year round. Specifically because I can, due to the work I'm putting in on campaigns, be more competitive than all the rest of the competition in a space, which is really more than half of what it's about. It's not about being a magic genius. It's about putting in more work to provide a better user experience for users, doing things like having one ad for every keyword that you're targeting and having custom landing pages for, a lot of times for each keyword or groups of keywords that are very tailored to having the best experience possible for people that all year round, for the most part, March through May, that might be a 12-to-1 return. And then if we're advertising in January, February, that might be, an 8-to-1 return. I want all the customers anyway. So you can look at it as it's only worth it to advertise during certain months, or you can look at it as I'm going to start there and then my goal is to get every customer I can. Because PPC, once it's set up, it works and it works and it works and it works. You want to edit that part out? So anyway, I think you guys get the picture here about the strategy you can use. Use this information to your advantage. What I'm always hoping for is people to get their foot in the door with PPC and not get discouraged and be the 90% who get in, they dabble with it a little bit, and then they get out because they get frustrated and they don't know how to get started to where the campaign they can start to. You got to use your initial success to build up a slightly bigger account until you got the big account where you can compete with the top guys in your space or top gals in your space. And that makes, obviously when you guys are profitable and for me, you take it so far, you're already making great money, and then I can show you the rest of the way is usually what happens here when people contact me. But you got to start somewhere, and this is one great way to get started with not needing a lot of money and not having to wait a lot of time for your return to come in. You're just getting the people that are ready to buy right now and tapping into them first. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. I have a ton of other videos just like this on this channel with specific strategies, different campaign types that I can tell you about that work, that don't work. I also have that kind of information on our blog that I've personally written at guaranteeppc.com/blog. And has step-by-step instructions on how to build the campaigns I build for our clients here to guarantee their results at Guarantee PPC. If you want to see how we're doing it, I show you how we're doing it there. If you have any questions about the seasonality of your business, how to optimize for that, is there a way to use this information to your advantage that can get you a little extra return, or just want to know about your unique situation, leave me a comment down below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel. And so with that, hope you enjoyed the video like I said, and to next time.